How's it going, Fish fam? Welcome back or welcome in if this is your first time checking out the channel. As you can tell from the title and all of the Naruto manga behind me up there on the shelf, I have been a lifelong Naruto fan for, I don't know, decades at this point. Decades. Basically, the whole reason I started this channel was because I wanted to commit to getting into One Piece. If you are interested and want to follow along on the journey, subscribe, turn on notifications, join the Discord. So let's check it out.
Been a certain ominous shadow cast across this channel.
Okay.
You see, as a YouTuber, I'm generally known for four
No
things.
subtitles.
My long, in-depth videos, my love of all things shonen, my utterly flawless spelling, and my absolutely perfect pronunciation of the Japanese language.
He's just like me, for real. He's just like me, for real. Although, I have been doing more romance content lately. Normally, I'm a shonen boy, in case you couldn't tell by all the stuff behind me, but I have been doing some romance content lately.
And the problem with those former two is that at some points it means that I need to do a video on the series One Piece. Which is fine, I like One Piece quite a lot, in fact. But the issue comes from how
I was like, what is this? It's Thriller Bark. I'm
currently
stupid.
Residing at its 833rd chapter. And
Damn.
the staggering breadth of its world. Which,
how do we
according to the
tell
One
him?
Piece Wiki,
How do we tell him,
has
boys?
currently 866 named characters. I know because I counted and it took a long time. So how does one talk about such a massive series like One Piece? Well, the answer that I've come to, at least, is the same way that one devours a whale. And that is piece by piece.
Okay, bro.
One piece.
Okay, bro. Okay. That's the most One Piece ass joke I've ever. Yeah,
And so
that's
what
some
we're going
true
to do
One
here
Piece
today
humor.
is that rather than go straight into a
My boy
full-blown
Johnny?
why you should watch/read, which don't worry, we will get to, is to first put out a shorter video covering what I consider some of the broader structural aspects of One Piece. Which
I
will
am
then free
curious
us
to
up
hear
and
this from
allow us
someone
to take
else
a much
because
deeper
one of the
dive
things
into
that interests me
characters
the
and
most about
themes
One Piece is the
later on.
political elements.
So with
So I'm
this in
curious to
mind,
see
my
if that's the same
friends,
for them.
please sit back, relax, and consider this an entree with the main course still to come. And let's discuss the appeal of One Piece. Where to start? I first encountered One Piece in 2006 on the UK television version of Toonami, and unbeknownst to me at the time, what I was watching...
Is the UK version of Toonami pregnant? What the hell was going on there, bro? What the hell was going on there, bro? Why is UK Toonami looking like that? Looking kind of thick.
was the infamous 4Kids dub, which would become well known
The
over time
4Kids
for its
dub.
questionable
They
translation.
do my boy
and
Sanji so
excessive
dirty.
amounts of censorship.
They do my boy
And
Sanji
even
so
despite
dirty.
these factors, I really came to enjoy the adventures of Nami, Zoro, and of course Luffy. The series had a unique
Nobody
playfulness
else?
to it that made it stand out from other more stoic series I'd seen up until this point, like Bleach and Dragon Ball Z. And even in the show's more dramatic moments, there was always a tremendous
One
amount
Piece
of
is
fun
definitely
to
a
be
lot
had.
goofier
Of
than
course,
Dragon Ball.
as I watched the imaginative pirate
Dragon Ball Z.
adventure on
Dragon
my
Ball's pretty
parents' old
fucking goofy.
TV, what I was completely unaware of was what a world-shattering phenomenon I was actually dealing with. That revelation would only strike me several years later, when, on a trip to Japan, it became obvious what a massive deal One Piece actually was.
Yeah.
Around every corner in every shop seemed to lie another new piece of Straw Hat Pirate merchandise. Luffy
I
and his
mean, it makes
ragtag
sense,
crew
bro.
were
When like a property has been around for that long, like it makes sense, you know, and especially ones when it's like that. It's like for like, you know, 2010s, fucking The Office, bro. Like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing like an Office Funko Pop or like a fucking Dunder Mifflin T-shirt, you know, like for a period of time, The Office in America was like the One Piece of Japan. I know that sounds like a really fucking goofy ass comparison. Maybe it doesn't make sense for some of my audience tends to be like a little bit older, but maybe for like some of the younger people that doesn't make sense, but for like elder and like middle age millennials, like, bro, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Where on everything, One Piece branded bread, One Piece bath salts, even entire One Piece branded
One
shops.
Piece
It was
bath
incredible to
salt
see
is
how
crazy.
what I thought was a simple show about pirates utterly dominate the mass consciousness of a single country.
Definitely
The
not
closest
just
thing I
about
could liken
pirates,
it
bro.
to was the Simpsons mania of early 90s
Lot
America.
of
This was, of course, before I
subtext.
started looking into things like global
Lot
sales
of
figures and
subtext
weekly
in One
shonen
Piece.
rankings. And if I had, I would have known things like the fact that One Piece has sold over 400 million units worldwide,
I mean,
making it
now
the
it's
third
the
biggest selling comic in existence.
#1 now.
Recently beating out Spider-Man for the #3 spot, leaving only Batman and Superman ahead of it.
Yeah,
and even then,
just passed.
in 2016,
Just passed Superman recently.
Batman sold
Now it's #1.
1,859,956 units, and Superman sold 828,069 units. And you could even roughly double the sales of both series by taking into account all their offshoot titles.
And yeah,
And
I
it
was gonna say
still
one
wouldn't even
thing
come
that
close
like
to
One
the
Piece is just
12
one author
million in
though.
sales that
Like
One
how
Piece
many
sold that
authors have
same
had
year.
Superman? How
And
many
where
authors
things
have done
really start
Batman?
to
Like
get crazy,
you know,
is that if these trends were to continue and One Piece were to run for another decade, it would nearly certainly surpass Batman in life.
when did this video come out? When did this video come out? 9 years ago. How do we tell him, bro? How do we tell him? Dude, that is kind of serendipitous watching this now, I guess. Dude, honestly, this is kind of perfect timing that I'm watching this now. I'm glad I didn't watch it earlier, actually. 3, 2, 1, play.
Lifetime global sales. And if it were to run for another 2 decades, which for Oda's sake I hope doesn't
2
happen,
decades.
it would surpass even Superman becoming the biggest selling comic in existence.
How do
no,
we
I'm
tell
not
him?
saying I think this will happen, but it's a hell of a thing to consider. And
Bro
so,
said, I don't think it's gonna
how
happen.
does a series about a
Yeah,
pirate
I mean,
boy
maybe
made of
9 years
rubber
ago that
manage
was
to
kind of a
capture the
stretch
hearts and minds of so many people
to think that
worldwide?
would happen, but
Well,
now,
to put it simply, the primary appeal of One Piece is the simple premise of adventure. And yes, that is also the core concept of countless other shonen series, but nothing
Toriko.
really captures the same sense
Shout out
of
the One Piece
scale and
Toriko
exploration
mashups.
as the world of pirates. Our hero on this voyage is the energetic young pirate, Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy is a simple character with a simple goal: to find the mysterious treasure
That's
only
my
known
goat.
as One Piece,
That's my goat
and in
right
doing
there.
so, become king of the pirates. This was Luffy's primary motivator from chapter
My
1
other
and
goat right
remains
there.
so in chapter 834. And this keeps Luffy's journey along the one distinct path, which is a concept surprisingly unique to One Piece. In most other shonen series, our heroes will go
What
on
arc was
several
coming out at
different
this
large
time?
adventures throughout the course of its run. And
Like
these are
manga,
what make up
anime,
the
like what
arcs.
arc was coming
But
out
in
at this
One
time?
Piece's case,
I'm
it's
so
always
curious,
the same
actually.
journey along the same path, to the point that you can actually chart Luffy's route out on a physical map. And the sub-arcs come from the various different islands or land masses the crew encounters along the way. This works particularly well as it makes the core story of One Piece very easy to understand, while also allowing for a massive amount of variety in the series sub-arcs. Some can be very simple, like the Barty arc, in which the Straw Hats visit a famous sailing restaurant in order to
the
recruit
what
a
arc?
chef.
Excuse-
Or
the-
very
the what arc?
complicated, like the Dressrosa arc, in
Oh.
which the crew must untangle a
Blah,
web
blah,
of
blah,
political
blah, blah,
intrigue
blah,
and
blah,
face
blah,
down
blah,
a
blah, blah,
vicious
blah,
and
blah, blah, I'm not
tyrannical
gonna look,
false
I'm
king.
not looking, I'm not
And because
looking.
of how the
I'm
arcs are
looking
structured,
away.
with
Okay.
literal massive quantities of ocean between them, there's no real limit to the kind of stories One Piece can tell. They start off fairly villain of the week-esque, with most enemies being rival
That's
pirate
my goat!
captains. But as we move on, we see the Straw Hats embroiled in
Tracker,
government
how many
conspiracies,
times have I said
abducted
that's my
by massive
goat during
haunted
this
ghost
video?
ships, springing jailbreaks, and even being at the center of large-scale global conflicts. And throughout the entire adventure, there's this real genuine sense of time and progress. When Luffy sets out on his journey from Fuchsia Village, he has little more to his name than a wooden dinghy and his straw hat. And now, 20 years later, he's an infamous pirate
Bro,
warlord, the
look at
world-famous
him, bro.
captain of one of the
Look
most
at my
renowned pirate
goat,
crews in
dude.
all of existence, the Straw Hat Pirates, of whom include a master samurai, a technologically advanced pantsless cyborg, and even an undead violinist with a awful, amazing sense of humor. One of the
Bro, that's
core
kind of a
joys
sick
of
outfit.
One Piece is watching
That's got-
Luffy
is it-
slowly
this looks like
ascend in
movie- this
status
looks like movie
and
outfits,
build his
though.
crew as each new battle propels him closer to his dream while also increasing his notoriety worldwide.
Luffy
It's
versus
not ever a
Lucci,
story you
man.
could
What a
accuse of moving
throwback.
quickly, but it is always moving. And I think it's only when you look back that you see how far Luffy and his crew have actually come. Of course, the success of an adventure series is largely dependent on the world the adventure takes place in, and this is another area where the series shines. One Piece's world, to put it simply, is the largest, most intricately detailed and well thought out of any of the long-running shonen series, which may not be obvious from the offbeat cartoonish designs of Oda's artwork, but make no mistake,
there's so
this
much
is a world
like
of layers
context
with its own
to
government,
everything.
economy,
Like
cultural
especially
and
because I
racial
just
divides,
rewatched
with many,
Alabasta with my
many
buddy.
different factions,
Available
all
on
of
the
whom
channel
have
and
their
on
own
Patreon.
philosophies and motivations. While Luffy and his crew are often at the center.
There's just like so much where, with the power of hindsight, like looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's what was happening. Oh, you know, like I just have so much extra context, even just being in Dressrosa versus being in Alabasta. I'm like, oh, okay.
Or at least involved in large-scale global incidents, the world also progresses entirely separate to them. Major plot incidents completely separate from the Straw Hats.
Hey, that's my goat!
And when they do occur, they reverberate throughout the world on such a scale that it drastically affects the lives of every character in it, such as Porticus D. Ace's showdown with Blackbeard that resulted in the Great Summit War.
Alright, this
it always
guy
feels
has
like
to be
there's a
just
larger picture in
to
One
make
Piece,
me in
and depending on the
mad.
global political climate of the time, Luffy and the Straw Hats' allies and enemies can switch from arc to arc, giving the world this intriguing, ever-changing dynamic. And so One Piece's world succeeds on a grand scale, but what may be even more impressive is the characters that Oda has filled it with. What at first can seem like a cartoonish gag character can, through Oda's storytelling, become a portrait of life at its cruelest and most tragic. And this information is often delivered through weighty flashback stories, in which we're taken through the key moments of a character's life. And while a badly used flashback can utterly kill the momentum of a series, Oda uses them in such a way to give his characters weight, grounding, and motivation that otherwise just wouldn't be possible. Like, seriously, you see this dumb-looking idiot in a diaper? This is Senor Pink, and this guy has a backstory that is absolutely heartbreaking. And upon hearing it, it completely
I'm gonna go like this. Okay. What? Did I just get you baited? Nope, I'm still okay. Still gotta. No. Nope. Nope. We're still getting. Okay. Bro, he is literally trying to spoil the arc I am actively watching. I've never felt so targeted by a video. Dude, is this whole video just a spoiler of one character backstory that I'm about to see? What is happening? This whole thing is just the character backstory for a character I can't... What is happening, dude? Pick anything. Give me Sanji's backstory. No, don't give me Sanji's backstory. Do something. Do anything else.
Characters with such fleshed out histories and motivation.
Why
is
would
the
they
primary
do that to
factor
me?
that makes One Piece's
There's like a
worlds
full
feel
2
so
minutes
vivid
of
and
one
alive,
character
and makes
backstory
each
that would
character feel like a true story
right
in
that
their
I'm
own
looking
right.
at
The
right
last
now,
thing I'd
bro.
like to talk
In
about with
the
One Piece
story
is
that I'm
also one of
watching
its
right
least
now.
tangible elements, and that is the creativity and imagination that's gone into it. There's always a sense that when reading One Piece, Oda himself is enjoying the world and characters more than anyone. It can be seen in the new and creative ways Luffy uses his at first seemingly limited power. It can be seen in the bizarre visual design of many of the world's inhabitants and the camaraderie that takes place between the Straw Hats, and even in the ever-evolving, unique structure of Oda's story arcs. He always seems like an author not striving to hit a deadline, but an artist creating a world and story distinctly of his own vision. This is something we're going to dig a lot deeper into in a future video, but for now, just trust me, simply no one writes a story like Ichiro Oda. So with all that in mind, where should you start? Well, the obvious answer is page 1, chapter 1. The manga is for the most part a fantastic read, but I understand people's reluctance to get into it given its insane length.
I still gotta read the manga.
Comes with
I
many
still
of
gotta
its
read the
own
manga
issues
at some
too,
point,
such as
bro.
a weak production run and masses of filler. But if you're curious to know if One Piece really is for you or not, or even if you just want to dip your toe in, allow me to present a different option, and that is the fantastic One Piece Movie 6, Bara no Matsuri and the Secret Islands. Directed by Mamoru Hosoda of the Digimon movie The Girl
also
Who Left
on
Her
the
Time
list.
and
That is
Summer
one.
Wars,
That's
the
a movie that's been
encapsulates
suggested
in a
to me.
digestible 90 minutes everything
That's a
that makes
movie that's
One
been
Piece as a
suggested to me. I've
series
watched
so much
a
fun.
couple
On top
One
of
Piece
having some
movies here on the
absolutely
channel, and that
gorgeous
is
animation
one
and
that I
character
still
designs,
need to check
and
out.
one of the darkest and hardest right turns I've seen in any film for a while. It requires basically no prior knowledge of One Piece or its world to enjoy, and I think even if you have zero interest in One Piece, seeing one of Japan's most talented directors put his own unique spin on the world of pirates is absolutely worth checking out. Guys, that's going
Bro,
to
just
do it
seeing
for my
Luffy
intro
like
into One
that
Piece, and
gives
there
me
is still
chills,
a ton
bro.
more we need to talk about. The characters, their themes, Oda's unique visual aesthetic, and what cursed fruit he ate in order to actually be able to constantly produce a manga of such quality. And we shall in a full-blown why you should watch/read One Piece coming later this year. But I hope this video, at the very least, has given you a foothold with which to get started. And also, as some of you are aware, I recently started a Patreon. So if you enjoy this channel
Hey,
and would like to see your name
if
listed with
his
all these
Patreon's still
beautiful
up,
people right here,
go check him out.
consider heading over to
I'm sure he's still making some good
patreon.com/super
shit.
where you can kick in $1 or $2 to help out with the
That was solid. That was solid, man. Other than the fact that I had to plug my ears and look away for 2 minutes of this 14-minute video. Other than that, solid, dude. This is solid. I'm really happy that I watched this right now, actually. I'm interested, like, it was just interesting to me how much it tied into, like, what I'm currently watching in One Piece, and like the current stuff that's like the fact that he brought up the whole Batman and Superman like comic selling aspect of it. I don't know, man. It just feels like a really interesting time to be watching that exact video. Also, the fact that he tried to spoil my ass on a character whose backstory I am like going to get in the arc that I'm currently on. Crazy work by him. I don't know how, what was it? Soul Super Eyepatch Wolf? Brother, why were you targeting me personally? That's kind of crazy, no? He was targeting me specifically. He said, hey, SpartnFish, I know you're gonna watch this. Fuck you in particular. Yeah. This is a really well put together video. I don't know, man. Should I chat? Let me know. Should I watch One Piece? Let me know. Should I check out One Piece? Yeah, I don't know. This was cool. I'm really glad I didn't watch something like this early on, because I 100% would have listened to all of that character backstory back in the day, and I would have been like, it's not gonna matter. Who cares? But now, like, there are so many One Piece videos that I know I could be watching and could be reacting to that would get like an insane amount of views, right? Like, I know just from the people that I'm friends with, like, if I were to go and watch like a reaction to biggest One Piece fights or whatever, if I were to put out a video today that said Naruto fan reacts to One Piece biggest fights, and I was wearing my Naruto headband in the thumbnail, and it was like I don't even know, it was a big fight, I feel like I would get like tens of thousands of views, right? But at this point, I am so invested into like the story building and the world of One Piece that I just feel like it would ruin my viewing experience to do something like that, you know? And like at this point, I'm like 3 years in. I don't want to do that to myself, you know? It would feel like I'm just like ruining my viewing experience, you know? And I just don't want to do that. But yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Let me know. Let me know what y'all thought of the appeal of One Piece video. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm not sure what day of the week this is coming out, but assuming it's coming out when I think it is, don't forget we got Uma Musume live stream going on. We got what else? There's episodes of Marriage Toxin coming out, the Avatar the live action, the last, you know what I mean, the dual reaction for that coming out. It's just, yeah. Okay, check it out. We got a lot of stuff. If you want early access, you want to see like weeks ahead, join the Patreon. Otherwise, I think that's gonna be it for now, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.
Hey, if you like this video, then YouTube says that you'll probably like this video that's on the screen right now. So you can go ahead and hit that video. Look, go ahead. This is one right here.